Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said during a press conference yesterday at Cabinet Room that the construction phase of the Argyle International Airport is winding down and the main focus is now on the operational phase. He said he is satisfied that they are in the winding down phase of the construction and that they already started the phases of putting things in place for operations there. 2 classrooms at the Bethel High School have been refurbished into a lunchroom and a mathematics room respectively. At a ceremony held at the school on Wednesday to officially open the rooms, Principal Miriam Pompey said the idea for a lunchroom came after members of staff reported that a number of students were coming to school without a proper breakfast. The World Pediatric Project, the WPP, this week concluded another successful mission to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which saw children receiving much-needed and free surgeries. The general surgery team comprised General and Thoracic Pediatric Surgeon Dr. David Lanning, surgical technician Cindy Shepard, as well as Dr. Pallet Charles of St. Lucia and Dr. Michelle Vincent of Barbados and local doctors. Jacqueline Brown King, WPP Director for the Eastern Caribbean, said the team held clinics, conducted training and handed over some equipment to the Milton Caton Memorial Hospital. Ms. Brown King said 10 surgeries were conducted last week, with 2 being multiple surgeries. At a press conference yesterday at the New Democratic Party's headquarters, leader of the party, Honorable Arne Musa, said that since the general elections of the 9th of December, the passage through the courts of the 2 petitions complaining of misconduct of the elections in the Central Leeward and North Windward has captivated the national attention. On the 23rd of June, Justice Brian Cottle essentially threw out those petitions without hearing any of the evidence, because the court concluded that the document given security for costs was not properly signed. The NDP has appealed that judgment.
Richard Williams had called me about this talk on the radio, and I asked him certain specific questions, and he said to me, 1, despite the urgency in the matter, the NDP's lawyers took 41 days and some hours into the 42nd day to file the election petition. Now, if you're going to take 40 days to file an election petition appeal, you're obviously not in a hurry. Because, as you know, I have done almost all the election petitions in the OACS in the last 10 years or 15 years. And I'm also involved as a legal consultant on the petitions in Trinidad for the PNM. And these election appeals are usually filed within 7 days.
Attorney at Law Anthony Astafan is questioning the NDP's decision and readiness for the petition that should have been filed this week. Meanwhile, opposition leader Arne Musa said that the appeal will not be heard this week while the Court of Appeal sits in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is the direct result of 3 things: the time it took to thoroughly prepare the appeal, which was nonetheless filed on time, the time it took for the court office to prepare the transcripts, and the time it took before the team received the transcripts after they were prepared. The appeal was filed on the 3rd of August, yet the transcripts were not received by the NDP's lawyers until the 8th of September. Leader of the New Democratic Party, Arne Musa, said yesterday at the NDP's press conference that he has heard the comments by Dr. Gonsalves and Senior Counsel Astafan over the last 3 days, suggesting that even though the transcripts were received late, the record, which must include the transcripts, ought to have been prepared and somehow the appeal would have been heard this week. Eustace, however, stated that that is not the case. He iterated the fact that the transcripts were received on September 8, 2016, the very day the court put out the preliminary list of matters to be heard by the Court of Appeal this week. Mr. Eustace said that as a result, their appeals could not have even made the preliminary list of matters. Senior Counsel Astafan on radio on Friday said that the appeal has not been listed for hearing and that it is an odd happening.
If because you are deeply concerned about expedition and resolving the stability of the government, these things are done very fast. Richard Williams told me last night I spoke to him, that we have not yet been served with the appeal. And unless an appeal has been filed and served, and there is no way on earth there's going to be an appeal set down for hearing by the Court of Appeal. And I also asked Richard Williams, whether he had checked the list, and he says he had checked the list and these appeals are not listed and were never listed for hearing by the Court of Appeal next week.
Sports is up next.